Hi guys, this is Backlot97 and I'm back with a really random review today. And today I'm reviewing the Star Wars Qui-Gon Jinn action figure from the Movie Heroes series. This is a figure I've kind of looked at for quite a few weeks. Looked at it mainly because, you know, I'm quite a big Star Wars fan, but haven't really watched the films in absolutely ages. But I saw that these figures had been brought out quite recently, and I got it for a reduced price of $4.50, and I just thought, why not? So here it is in the packaging. It's a the exact same packaging for every single figure. You've got this picture of Darth Maul on the top there, and then all the Star Wars writing here, the name of Qui-Gon Jinn. Then the picture of the actual character down the side. So let's take a look at the back. There's a picture of the figure. Sorry about that. The Grappling Hook launcher. Movie Heroes. Picture of him there with the actual Grappling Hook, which I quite like. Star Wars Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon Jinn finds himself on a dramatic journey full of peril and discovery. Right, and here's some of the other figures in the series. You've got a clone trooper, which that looks like the clone trooper from the third film, rather than the second film, because they had that weird thing on their head. Then there's a destroyer droid. That actually looks like the destroyer droid they brought out for the second film, which they've used actually a lot of pictures on some of the figures from those films. That's the Darth Vader figure, which I had. That was when the second film came out as well, and the same with the Super Battle Droid. So, yeah, there's a picture there that shows you the game card thing, which is like a game thing you can do, which I think they started doing that ages ago, with some of the first of the new Star Wars figures. They started doing these weird battle game things where you get cards and a die. So let's get this open. Just get my knife, and right then. So far I quite like the packaging. I think I prefer it to the Star Wars as Clone Wars packaging, because it's quite plain, that box. Which, funny enough, they've done all sorts of figures in these series. I was hoping to get the Clone Wars Obi-Wan with these, which came with a climbing belt thing or whatever, a backpack. But they didn't have that. They only had the regular Clone Wars version, which the head sculpt on that is pretty poor. It's almost as bad as the very first one they did of the Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars series. I mean, I managed to pick up the second one that they did of him, with his fantastic head sculpt, in this what's that, space suit thing. Had a weird helmet, and then this attachable mini lightsaber for the side. But yeah, that was a pretty good figure when they did those. That was last year I bought that. And there goes the die. So yeah, it's exactly the same dice as they used before, I think, when they first did these. Originally it was blue, I remember that, but I think they've used the same moulds for it. Right, so here's the cards, and then there's this little removable sticker thing of Qui-Gon Jinn, which that's quite cool. It's just the box. Move that out of the way. Yeah, there's the cards. Just a moment. Wow, this thing doesn't move out. Well, there it is anyway. That's the card. That's from one of the pictures from the movie. Towards the end of the film, I think. Okay, so really what I was going to show you is the figure. And like most figures, they've done this stupid thing with the lightsaber where they put it through there, and you have to go through all that. It's actually quite bent, that. Which, get the focus there. Very bent. Right then, so here's the figure out of the packaging, and yeah, this is a really awesome figure. They haven't really done a decent Qui-Gon Jinn, because I remember the very first figures they did of Qui-Gon Jinn from the very first film, that they weren't brilliant. They were good, but they weren't as good as these. And then they did the same sort of figure for when the second film came out. They did like a random thing, and that wasn't a good figure either. It was one of those figures that sort of was in its own pose, and you couldn't really move anything other than the arms up and down and stuff like that. So yeah, that is a really fantastic figure. They've actually kind of captured the likeness quite well of Liam Neeson. Yeah, no, this is a really awesome figure. You've got pretty good details on the belt there. That's where the lightsaber would fit in. You've got this sort of cloth for the tunic thing, and then plastic on the front and the back, which that's quite a nice touch. It's a really nicely detailed lightsaber. I mean, I know exactly what the lightsaber looked like from the film, because I actually had one. I know, and that's what it looks like. It's very good. He had these like weird beads down the side there, and they've kind of done that. They've kind of sculpted it into the hair. So yeah, that's really good. So in terms of articulation, you've got a ball jointing head, and it's on quite a large ball joint compared to some of the other figures, and it's on quite a large neck as well. You've got sort of ball-like joints on the arms, so it can move up and down, forward and backward, bend at the elbow as well as a swivel above the elbow, wrist swivel. It's like a ball joint here, so that can do 360-degree movement there. Legs can only go up and down, not outward. Swivel above the knee, bend at the knees also, and this very decent ankle swivel, and almost a bend, but not quite, but that's okay. Yeah, no, I really like this figure. I do prefer the fact that the coat isn't on there, although if you've had some of the older figures, then you'll have the sort of cloth robe thing that they came with before, and they fit on these figures just fine. So we came with a stand, the lightsaber, and then this really weird grappling hook. Let's just get to that in a minute. So here's the stand. It's a generic stand for every single figure. Just that they sometimes change the colours on them. This one's like a weird sand colour, which kind of matches the figure really. So you've got this, it says grappling hook, with these blasters, which I absolutely hate. You know, with the G.I. Joe figures, they had the blasters with those figures, and the way they work was you had the button on like the top or the bottom. You press the button and the missile fired. But with these, they haven't done that. Instead, with these figures, there's no button on there whatsoever. Instead, you have to flick the end, and then it ends up not going very well. Or just not working. So, there we go. That wasn't too bad. It's probably one of the better ones. But if you left your finger there, then they didn't fire. And to be fair, yeah, see? Nothing. There we go. That's quite cool. And if he was holding that, it's quite a long piece of string, that. And there's the missile, and then there's the gun. So it's a very long piece of string. Just attach that to his hand. The hands are pretty good as well. They're quite strong, but made of like a rubbery plastic. Yeah, so that gun fits in his hand pretty well, and then you just sort of zip up. So yeah, that's quite a nice accessory. But I think most collectors will probably just, you know, throw that away. So in terms of size, he's in complete scale with the regular Star Wars Clone Wars figures and pretty much all of the Star Wars figures, which is good because, you know, if you want to build like a Jedi army or whatever. Yeah, they aren't quite as tall as the Movie Masters Harvey Dent figure. They're about half the size, if not a little bit taller than that. So yeah, these are probably what, 3.75 inches. So yeah, they're worth about £8, £8.50 to £9. But I picked mine up for £4.50 from Wilkinson's. So yeah, get hunting for these figures. They are actually pretty good. They have improved, I'll say, from when they first started doing these figures. At first they weren't very, I'll say, fantastic. They weren't very fantastic. My only disappointment with this figure is it doesn't have the articulation in the hips, so the legs can move sort of outwards, because that gives you a wider range of movement. But it's a very strong movement, and when you bend the knees it kind of does look quite, regular. So yeah, this is a pretty good figure. So yeah, there's my Star Wars Qui-Gon Jinn movie heroes action figure with Grappling Hook. I will be hopefully reviewing some more of these Star Wars figures if I see any ones worth reviewing, really. Also, I'm hoping to receive my Movie Masters Bane figure sometime in September, so get looking out for that review. And also, please get telling your friends. I'll be doing videos of about films, new films that are coming out, and film series such as Harry Potter, Star Wars, X-Men, anything like that. We're going to be talking about those films, telling you what we think, and probably doing a few little quizzes and stuff. So yeah, get looking out for that. I'll see you in my next review. So until then, bye.